Hello, this is Rosa. I call this die or beat this. What it is diabetes. And I broke the word down to relate to die or beat this. At this time, I'm trying to beat diabetes. I've been a diabetic since the age of 5. I am now 44, which means I have had diabetes for a very, very long time. I'm a type 1 diabetic. That means type 1 diabetes means that you've had it since, type 1, I would describe it as juvenile diabetes. So at the age of 5, imagine taking insulin shots. I'm going to show you an example of what it is. This is a insulin syringe. I have to use this syringe, not this exact one, but I use like 3 of these a day. I have this insulin right here. This is a regular, and this is the MPH. So these are 2 bottles of insulin that I have to use with this needle, and I take it at least, well, it varies sometimes, 3 to 4 times a day depending on what my blood sugar is. Here's my meter. My meter actually talks because I'm visually impaired. So if I'm visually impaired and I have to take this insulin, there are different devices that they provide for diabetics in order to use their insulin. But this thing right here is going to keep me alive. This right here is going to keep me alive. So it's either die or beat this. So I'm not going to die. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to take my insulin. I'm going to check my blood sugars. And I'm going to do it as many times a day as it takes for me to stay alive. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that when I was growing up in St. Louis, I never wanted my friends to know I was diabetic. Back then, I wasn't blind. I went blind in 1998, which was about maybe, it's 2012 now, so you do the math. But when I was young and I was a teenager, I didn't want people knowing that I was a diabetic because I guess I was embarrassed. I didn't want people to judge me. Once again, I'm talking about being judged. I didn't want people to judge me, and I didn't want people to feel pity for me or feel sorry. So I would eat junk food all the time. I would eat sweets. I would eat McDonald's. I would eat anything that I wanted to eat. And finally, in 1998, my eyesight started going bad. So when my eyesight started going bad, it was my little, they call them floaters. Little specks of blood were floating in the front of my eye because my vessels were leaking blood, which means they were damaged. I had to get laser treatment. So they were able to save one eye, but they were not able to save the other eye. So I can see out of one eye, but I can't see out of the other. And the vision that I have is very blurry. And diabetes is nothing to play with. So if you find out later on in life that you're a type 2 diabetic, which basically means you got diabetes because you are overweight, or maybe you haven't been taking care of yourself the way you're supposed to, type 2, meaning you got it later on in life, you may be able to just take pills. I've never been able to take pills because my pancreas is damaged. That means when at the age of 5, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, my pancreas inside of my body wasn't making insulin, which means that I had to take my insulin. And there are all types of insulin. You know, they got some that look like this, and then they got some that are in a pen form that people could carry around with them. But I don't want to talk about all the different types of insulin. I don't want to talk about all of that. What I want to talk about is to die or to beat this. So if you want to beat this, the only thing you could do is take your medication, check your blood sugars. Don't be embarrassed. If you go out to a restaurant, pull out that needle, pull out that insulin, let everybody know you're diabetic, pull out your meter and check your blood. Because what is it going to matter if people know what you're doing, because people know who diabetics are. There are some people that don't know, but you could be the one to teach them if they come up to you and ask you. If they say, ma'am, you can't do this right here, or whatever the thing is, they say, look, I got to do this because I'm a diabetic. This has to be done because I want to live. Okay? Now, if I could go back in time before I was, when I could see, and when I was worried about being judged by people in school, I wish I could turn back the clock and say, to hell with everybody, because I don't want to be blind. It's not fun being blind. Right now, I'm looking at this camera, and it's very blurry. I can see a little bit, but not well enough to see detail. So it's very blurry. So imagine living your life through a window that has a glaze over it. You know, if I could get something right now and kind of block this camera and just put like a glaze over it, that's how I'm looking at. That's how I'm looking at everybody through my eyes that are damaged. A glaze over my eyes. So what you could do to kind of get a feeling of what I'm talking about, get one of those sheer cloth, or go to your window, get some Crisco. If you got some Crisco in the house, get a little bit of Crisco, rub it over your glass window. Just rub a clear glaze over it, make it smooth, and then look out that window and see what you see. That's what I'm looking through. I'm looking through a glass window that got Crisco on it. So that's an example of what I'm talking about. So, okay, if you say, well, there's cataract. Yeah, I got cataract, but my eyes are also damaged. So if I were to get an operation now to remove my cataract, it's a 50-50 chance that I could lose the little bit of vision I have. So you got to ask yourself, if you become blind because of diabetes, is it worth it not to carry your insulin and your needle and your meter to beat this disease? You got to ask yourself that. I think it's worth it. So if you're a diabetic and you're not blind, and you don't have numbness in your fingers, and you don't have numbness in your feet, and you don't have protein spilling in your urine, which means that your kidneys are going bad, which means that you could be going on dialysis. If you don't have any of these things and you're a diabetic, listen to what I'm saying. Take your insulin, use your needle, check your blood as many times a day as it takes, because I can guarantee you that being blind, having numbness in your feet and fingers, possibly losing one of them, or even having your kidneys go bad to where you have to be on dialysis, who knows how many times a week, is not a choice. I mean, if I could turn back the clock, I would. So I could give you advice right now if you're a diabetic, or if you know someone that's a diabetic. Take it from me. Don't be embarrassed of being a diabetic. If you're a juvenile diabetic and you go to school, don't worry about what those kids are talking about. You let them know I'm a diabetic and I got to check my blood sugar and I got to take my insulin. Let them know. And if they don't like it, too bad. Because you know what the outcome is? What you see right here. A 44-year-old person whose eyes are bad, who that has, you know, I have problems with my sensitivity of my fingers. I sometimes at night have numbness in my feet. Now my kidneys are not bad, and I'm hoping they don't go bad. That's why I'm trying to beat this disease, and I don't want to die. Because there's a lot of people that have died young because they didn't take care of their diabetes. I want to live to be a grandmother. I'm 44 years old and I'm not a grandmother. But I would love to live to see the day that one of my children has a child and I'm able to see them with the little vision I have in my eye. Now, if I want to keep this little bit of vision, I have to stay away from all those bad foods that are out there. And when I say bad foods, it's like the cake is going to be here when I'm dead and gone. That Big Mac is going to be here when I'm dead and gone. That Jumbo Jack is going to be here when I'm dead and gone. What else? That turkey dinner for Thanksgiving is going to still be here when I'm dead and gone with all them pies. That sweet potato pie and that German chocolate cake, them mashed potatoes with gravy. All that stuff is going to be here when I'm dead and gone. It'll still be here, but I won't be. So do I want to die or do I want to beat this? I want to beat it. You know, so that's all I can say to people out there that are diabetics. Don't take diabetes like, because I think back when I was younger, I thought diabetes was just something that the doctor talked about, and I could still do what I wanted to do. I ate what I wanted. I said, oh well, if I eat a little too much, I'll just take some more insulin. No, you can't do that. You got to balance your diet with your medication, exercise every day, which I haven't been doing. I'm going to start doing that when I get off here. But there's a lot of things that come into play with diabetes and staying healthy. And some of the superstars that are out there that are diabetics that I found out is someone like Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle looks good. She's a diabetic. I think they said Halle Berry was a diabetic. I can't really quote that, but I'm almost positive they said Halle Berry was a diabetic. Mary Tyler Moore was a diabetic. You know, if people are familiar with Mary Tyler Moore back in the day, she used to come on TV, but she was always skinny. So I don't know the details about her diabetes, but these are famous people that are diabetics. And I found out later that they were diabetics, and I said, huh. So there are famous people, actors and actresses out there that are diabetics, and, you know, we have something in common. It's a lot of people out here that are diabetics, and some of them let it be known, and others are a little bit ashamed of it, like I used to be. And the key thing is to remember this is a disease that could kill you. So, are you going to die or are you going to beat this? That's what you got to tell yourself if you're a diabetic. And if you know anybody out there, grandmother, cousin, friend, sister, or whoever, anybody that you're aware of that has diabetes, let them know. Are you going to die or are you going to beat this? Diabetes. Are you going to die or are you going to beat this? And it can be beat. All you have to do is take your medication, right here, check your blood sugar, and do it often, as many times as it takes to stay alive. So thank you for listening to me today, and I hope I can encourage someone who's listening that may know a diabetic, and just let people know it's okay to be a diabetic. Don't be ashamed of it. Be proud of who you are, and don't be embarrassed, and just think of the bad outcome that could happen if you don't follow your diet and take your medication as a diabetic. The outcome is death. And before death can come blindness, loss of sensation in your toes and fingers, or even them being cut off, or your kidneys going bad to where you have to go to dialysis. So what's the alternative? Do what you have to do to stay alive, or just sit around and let the diabetes kill you. So I'm getting ready to get out here and work out. I'm going to start walking, and I'm going to try to lose weight, and I'm going to set my goal for at least a year. I'm not going to be one of these people just trying to starve myself, because I can't do that. I'm a diabetic. I have to eat. But when I do eat, I'm going to make the wise choice to pick items that are going to be healthy and nutritional, instead of just fulfilling and fattening and sweet. I'm going to make better choices in my food. Good day.